right, guys. Well, I'm sure we'll get some stragglers, but we're going to get right to it. It is Move Ember. I love that we're doing this. I've been having fun seeing everybody's posts. Coach Sam has been kind of leading the way with like doing daily accountability posts and making it kind of fun too, and attaching some gratitude to it and some like get to know you flair. And so if you haven't been participating in Coach Sam's daily movement post, hop on there because we're going to be playing this movement game and discussion this entire month. So tonight and for the rest of November, we're going to talk about movement. We're going to talk about different parts of movement. And we've got some kind of unique homework tonight for your like take home to do. What I wanted to talk about though, as our conversation topic is the word fitness. This is one of those, like, we talk about some words that are sort of like utilized a lot, like metabolism, and we try to like define it so we understand it better and we have a better idea of how it like matters to us. And I think fitness is another one of those words that's just like used constantly. And we've never even in Fitme taken the time to decide or describe what fitness is to us. And so I wanted to share a few definitions. If you do CrossFit or you've been in the CrossFit space, they actually created their own definition of fitness. And when you do your level 1, which is how you become a coach with CrossFit, they actually teach you their definition of fitness. So they have a specific one. I don't think this one's ours, but I thought I would share it anyway, which CrossFit's definition of fitness is basically around work capacity. How much work can you do in a certain amount of time? How much weight can you move across the room in a certain amount of time? And so that is how they define fitness. I looked up a couple other definitions because I was just curious, but some definitions of fitness are like physical fitness is a state of health and well-being, the ability to perform aspects of sports, occupations, and daily activities. Physical fitness is achieved through nutrition, exercise, sufficient rest, and recovery. Another definition of fitness is one's ability to execute daily activities with optimal performance, endurance and strength, and management of disease, fatigue, and stress. I think most of the definitions are kind of like that: being in good physical shape, being suitable for a task. That is the definitions of fitness that I found. I thought they were interesting. I actually don't think that's how I would define fitness for us. And that's what I wanted to talk about on this call tonight. Because we're doing Movember, and we've talked about, why it's important to move our bodies, what it does for us. But when we say we want to be more fit, what does that even mean? What's interesting is a lot of those definitions make it sound like we must be suitable for something, or like that we are the instrument of fitness, right? Like even in CrossFit, it's like your body is the instrument of moving weight, up and down. And like, that's the definition of fitness. Or like, how suitable are you for a task is the definition of fitness, like in the ones that I read to you. And those are like the big ones, I think fitness maybe should be the other way around. Like instead of it's us being the object or us being suitable for something, it's can we access what we want? Like, are we physically fit enough or physically healthy enough to be able to access life and enjoy life the way we want to? Because to me, fitness isn't about how you look. I mean, oftentimes we say it, we're like, oh, you look fit. I mean, what does that mean? That means you look like you have muscles. You look healthy, you look strong. I'm not saying it's bad. I just think it's interesting. We tell somebody they look fit or I don't feel fit. And so what does that even mean? What does that mean to us? To me, the most important definition of it would be like, regardless of what your physical body looks like, are you able to do life the way you want to do it? Do you have enough cardiovascular shape to be able to, go for a long walk with people you want to walk with? Do you have enough joint mobility to be able to do something you want to do? Do you have enough physical strength to protect your body from injury and to be able to, move things around? Do you have enough athleticism or ability to incorporate all those things to be able to do something you enjoy, like a sport? Do you have enough flexibility that you can move through your life without pain? To me, like, that is a more interesting definition of fitness that gives us ownership to be able to acquire it too. It's like, what do I want out of my fitness? And then you can really work towards that. And it makes it so that life becomes bigger and more accessible and less about like, how do you measure up against someone else's version of fitness? Because honestly, it does not matter to anybody else except for you. What you want to be able to do and how you want to feel in your physical body is what matters the most. But the truth of it is that to achieve physical fitness for you, whatever it is that you want to attain, it's going to take some sort of maintenance or work. And that was, when I talked about last week, when I said we're doing Movember, movement actually can be a perfect way to figure out what you need to do maintenance on. If you're like, oh man, I thought I was going to jog a mile every day, and turns out my ankle hurts and I can't breathe. Like, you just checked in, and it's not like a judgment. It's like, okay, well, I know I've got work to do. I can't do that the way I want to. So your task for the week, your like assignment to do, is I actually put together a survey or an assessment for you. It's our Fitme like movement fitness assessment. Super easy. It's like rate certain things, fill in the blank certain things. But it will tell us, and specifically your coach, a little bit about you, where you feel like you need the most help, what you want to be able to do, and where you feel like you're at right now. And give us some insight on what you like and what you don't like, so that we can help you best. But I would love to hear from you guys. And I'll go over a couple of the questions in the assessment before we hang up today. But what do you consider the definition of fitness to be? Too hard of a question?
I think it's, you said it, but I would just take it one little half step farther, which is to be able to move through the life that you want, not you, but want what one wants.
Mm-hmm.
So it is going to be different for every person.
Mm-hmm. It will definitely be different for every person.
And just to be able to do the things you want to do
Mm-hmm.
successfully.
Yeah. And without injury, I think too. That's what I would add to that statement, is I think that's like a certain level of like preparation or fitness can protect you from normal things that might hurt your body. A certain level of fitness can protect against that. Sarah Scott said, being able to live my active life. Jinx May. Yeah. And Nicole said, being able to keep up with my little ones. Nicole, what are some of the things that you want to be able to do with your little ones that would help you say, like, I feel really fit, like, because I can do X, Y, and Z?
My littles are pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So there was at one point, my 3-year-old broke out in a run and I struggled to catch him. And I think we all know whether it was a parking lot. I can't remember if it was a parking lot or it was somewhere where I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a challenge. So being able to be physically fit enough to keep up with them up to a certain extent, because there's going to be a point where they're just going to be faster than me. But at least for safety and, just to be able to get out in the yard and play and run. And, they like to climb trees and lifting them and, being able to go hide and go seek and run around for a bit without, getting winded to the point where I can't engage with them. So that's my idea of, being able to keep up with them.
I like it. Yeah. 3-year-olds are way faster than they should be. They have these little legs and they can just run so fast.
Yeah. I think he was downhill at one point and it was bad.
I like it. And what it made me think of when you were talking too is how sometimes we can acquire like a level of fitness by doing the thing we want to do. Like this is something that people argue about, in the training and strength and conditioning space. It's like if you want to be able to squat more, then you should squat. But also sometimes we have to do other things that equip us to do the things we want to do. So I was like thinking about you, Nicole, when you were saying that, because obviously like to increase your fitness, you don't just want to like chase your toddler all day. Like that is not going to be like an effective way to it will though. I mean, like in theory, that would increase your fitness specifically for that. But like, I know you just joined CrossFit. And so you're working on your like full body, being stronger and being able to move differently. And that would translate into like chasing your toddler.
For sure. For sure.
It'd be really funny if you were like, all right, we're going to the track and you're going to run and I'm going to chase you. And that's the game we're going to play. They probably would think it's fun. Who else has thoughts on fitness? Because I also think one thing about fitness is that not only does it change per person, but I think it also changes in seasons of your life. Like I'm not going to be the same kind, what I would consider to be like my fitness level or what's optimal or ideal for me in my 20s might not be the same as it is in my 60s or 50s or in like a postpartum season or in a season where you've got health things going on. So I think fitness varies in seasons too.
I think that's actually, Christy, exactly what I was just going to add is, when I had started first working out, there were so many things that I didn't even know were part of a workout routine, let alone whether I could do them or not, and it was as simple as, maybe jumping up on a 8-inch step. Mm-hmm. It was scary, and after you practice and you do it for a while, pretty soon you're like, oh, wow, like I can do that. And then it kind of changes, it can go from maybe jumping to running for 10 minutes straight without needing to stop and catch your breath. So I would just say, I think it changes. I haven't actually thought about it like this, but I love the question. And I would say, like, for me right now, fitness will likely incorporate in more stretching and flexibility things. Cause I don't know, for whatever reason in the last year to probably 14 months, I don't feel quite as flexible as I normally am. So I'm going to try, you just adjust and shift, I guess, based on what you think you need or what your body needs.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like we have to kind of check in with ourselves from time to time, which is one of the reasons I want to do this assessment for everybody is sort of just like a check-in. Like, what thing do you need to pay attention to right now? Is it stretching? Is it strength work? Is it your cardiovascular health? Is it your joint range of motion and ability to move without pain? What is it? So I like that page a lot. And I think there's one other piece. I think fitness is tied to your mental health, and where you're at mentally goes with it. I think that there are like even professional athletes who are at like the top level of like physical performance who really probably aren't at the best fitness because their mental health is not awesome. They probably can't do everything they want to do because the mental part is what's holding them back. So I think it always has to be a factor in considering. So for like our life, we're not like professional athletes, but sometimes our physical bodies are limited by just how we feel in our heads. And so choosing things, movement, choosing exercises, choosing the season, like so that it also takes that into account, I feel like is really important.
I think that there's a couple different ways to look at fitness. And one is to do fitness activities that are a choice. Okay. Like, maybe you choose that you want to lift weights, or you choose that you want to kayak, or that you choose. Okay. So those are like extra activities and they require a level of fitness. But then you have to examine the level of fitness you need just to survive in your skin and get through your daily activities, like chasing toddlers or walking upstairs carrying 5 bags of groceries, or those kind of things. Do you see what I mean? I guess some is recreational fitness and some is daily living fitness.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
It's like that functional life fitness. Sorry, Georgia joined us. She heard us talking about toddlers and she on cue appeared.
Georgia.
Well, and Christy, when you talk about, sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'll go after you.
I was just going to say one thing, that when you talk about functional, that's one thing that I have been working on recently with someone since I've moved over here, is finding someone to help with functional movement. And that's just especially, my 60th birthday is coming up here pretty soon, and just some of those kind of things where I wasn't able to do some of those things, like getting up off the floor, and being able to do things after having back surgery. Those things became difficult for me, getting in and out of the lower cupboards and taking a pan out without hurting myself. Those were things that became really difficult to do, that were everyday things. And that's what I found with the functional movement. And so I want to she's no longer with us, unfortunately, but to be able to incorporate some of those kind of things into when you're exercising and doing different things, but how to kind of make sure you're bringing back that functional movement back so that you can still continue to do those things that you would need to do every day without hurting yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And if you don't maintain it, we tend to lose it. We lose our ability to do those things if we neglect it. And so, yeah, I feel like functional movement is the priority. Actually, I feel like that's the most important one. If we were going to make like a hierarchy, and maybe like sport, although it brings a ton of joy, might be like, less important really in the overall scheme, or maybe just this could be something that's variable for the person. I think I know plenty of people who would be like, sport is more important than functional movement. But I think it just depends on the season too. They're like, Leah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, like, fitness also is like what we do. I feel like people feel like I should be like, I'm fit, I should be able to do anything. And kind of then when I can't, when something's difficult for me and I'm huffing and puffing and I don't feel fit doing it, it's because I don't do it. If that makes sense. So I kind of feel like I hear people say all the time, like, I'm not fit, I can't do that. But actually it's just because they're not doing that, but they are fit at other things. And so that's kind of what I think about sometimes, because sometimes I'll say that. Sometimes I'll be like, I'll do something that I never do. And I'll be like, oh my God, I feel like I haven't worked out a day in my life because I'm not fit at that. And I think people forget that we're fit at what we do all the time. And we're kind of not fit at things we don't do.
Such a good point. This weekend, we did our like Fitme in the Park workout, and Ellen brought her son, Victor. So Fitme member Ellen came and she brought Victor, and he's, very physically fit. He does jujitsu. He's a brown belt at jujitsu. And he was like laughing because he was like, this workout is so hard. He's like, this is way harder than jujitsu. And I'm like, you've lost your mind. Like jujitsu is so much harder. But yeah, it was way out of his normal, Leah. Like you're saying, it was something he doesn't do. So bear crawling around a square was no fun for him. And I think when we return though it's like, sometimes we can be like, well, do I even care if I can do that thing? And if the answer is no, well, then no, it doesn't need to be something you need to dedicate a lot of time to, unless the thing that you can't do because you never do reveals an issue. Because in that case, you can think about it a different way and say, like, I actually don't care if I can ever, do whatever. But I just realized that whenever I reach across my body, like that hurts. So then all of a sudden it revealed something that is important for you to address. And so sometimes trying new things doesn't mean you have to like commit to them forever. It can just be very insightful and teach you things about yourself that you may not have otherwise known. And again, like physically, it can show you things, places that are weak or imbalanced or need work. It can strengthen your mental game. It can there is value in doing something new, even if it ends up being something you're not going to spend years doing. Even if you just spend a little bit of time and, learn it for a couple of months, it can teach you some stuff. Any other thoughts? I wanted to share a couple of the questions with you from the assessment, and then I'm going to share it via the app. So look for it tomorrow morning. I'm going to blast it out on the app. So that way you can just click the link and fill it out. But a couple of the questions are pretty straightforward, like how many times a week are you currently sweating? And, do you currently attend a exercise class or a gym, those kind of things, or you do anything online? But some of them are more, introspective. Like, what do you feel like you want to dedicate time to improving, or that needs attention in your life, like strength work or flexibility and posture, joint pain, those kind of issues. Where's your priority? And questions like, how would you know that you feel fit? This is like one of my favorite coaching questions about when someone says they want something, like, I just want to feel healthy. And I ask them, how would you know you feel healthy? Or I just want to feel more confident. Okay, how would you know you feel more confident? I want you to think about in your life how you would know you feel fit. What would you be doing? How would that feel to you? And what would you be experiencing or not be experiencing? Any questions or thoughts? I think one of my goals for 2022 will be that Fitme has our own definition of fitness. We settle in on one. We're going to define a whole bunch of words and just take them back for us.
Hell yeah. Hey, Sarah.
I was going to say, I actually really like that question, because I don't think I've ever thought about what degree fitness I am and what degree I would feel fit or anything like that. And I think it's really telling where you have to look inward and dig a little bit of why you want to do some of the things that you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I you're not alone in that, Sarah. I think lots of people haven't been asked that question before or thought about it. And so I think it'll be fun, even as we're doing our daily movement, the page says, coming from our girl who just did her first Spartan race. Amazing.
So I actually had a good story. This was a little bit back. One of my clients, who's 72, he did his first Ironman. And it was 3 weeks later that I did the Spartan. And he was like, I want to come see you do your Spartan. Because I went and saw him do the Ironman. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, no, it is just a little Spartan. It was a 3-mile race. Don't go all the way up there to Ocean City. He's like, well, you came to my Ironman. And I was like, that's totally different. That's 2 different levels. And he's like, yeah, but not for us. And he's like, your Spartan is my Ironman. It's the same level to us. He's like, I've been preparing for 2 years to do this. That's why I'm at that level. He's like, I still want to, so it's kind of almost like humbled me a little bit of, you know what, this is a big deal because to me, this is my Ironman at this
Yeah.
point
Yes.
in my life. And then when I conquer that, then I can go up to something bigger. And then that will be my Ironman, quote unquote.
That's a perfect way to end this call, because I feel like if we can just remember that in so many different seasons of our life, like what our Ironman is. I mean, sometimes it'll be something epic like that. And other times it'll be that in between space, like what you're talking about, Sarah, where you're like really making headway on your fitness and you're doing what's like really hard and challenging. And sometimes it's going to be, you know, something that seems almost ridiculous, like a walk to the bathroom and back might be an Ironman one day for somebody, you know? So it's such a good and be worthy of celebrating. So it's really good reminder, Sarah. That's perfect. And congratulations. Sweet guys. Well, I want y'all to have an awesome week. Again, keep an eye out for Coach Sam's like daily movement prompts. Post what you're doing on there for Movember. P.S. I feel like I like totally screwed myself by making that graphic with like the no mustache and then the move instead, because my husband decided to have a mustache for November. And so now he's torturing me. And I said, it's not Movember, it's Movember. It's not Movember. But watch for tomorrow morning. I'm going to send out this assessment and be sure to fill it out. Everybody fill it out. Again, it's going to be private. It's just going to be shared with your coach and the Fitme team. Nobody else will see it. Yeah, if you have questions, just reach out, but have a fantastic week. All right, guys, take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.